one.
What's good, man? It's your big brother K-Rino, man. Y'all are tuned in again to another virtual episode of K-Rino Radio, man. I'm so honored and happy today, man, because we got a brother on here too, who, in my opinion, has been one of the more underrated, legendary figures, man, to come out of the city of Houston, man. This brother has done so much for the game, for the coaching, for this city, man. And I just feel as though he needs to be recognized on far, far greater levels than he has.
Thank you, brother.
Rapper, producer, DJ, legend, everything, man.
Oh, you know about the DJing.
So, you know, I did some research, and you know, I had to. I'm gonna tell you how I know all that in a little while. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this brother goes back to the early days, the origins of Houston, man. And in my opinion, he was always ahead of his time. And I can't say nothing else. Big brother born twice. I knew back in the days of B2 Omega, but born twice. How you feeling, my brother?
Oh, you went B2 Omega on me.
How you feeling,
yes,
family?
Sir. Yo, it's an honor and a privilege, man. I'm doing good, brother. I hope you're doing good as well on this Valentine's Day.
Absolutely, man. Blessed indeed, man. First of all, man, I want to just ask you, and for the people who don't know, let people know who you are, just your origins in the game, man, and how you became the great that you are. Give people that rundown real quick.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, just the love of the music. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and by the time I came to Houston, and first of all, shout out R.I.P. to my big bro and a super legend as well, Gangster Ricardo from Raw Flush.
Raw Flush in the building.
I can't do nothing, say nothing without speaking on him. Absolutely. Because he was the one that had the heart to go on them stages and kick every nigga's lyrics in. He was the one to go on them stages and slay everybody effortlessly. He had the heart to do that, and I think a lot of the rest of us, him and Class C, and a lot of the rest of us, we was along for the ride, man. And shout out to Thelton Pope, Sir Rap-A-Lot, K9, because he was there too. Willie D, shout out to Willie D. It was a beautiful time, man. Shout out to Steve Fournier.
Yes, sir.
And Wicked Cricket, R.I.P. Because Golden Boy out in Philly now, you know, guys like that. These are the guys that gave us those microphones, man, because they seen that we had something, and they wasn't cocky or egotistical. Shout out to Captain Jack. These are the guys that opened the doors for us, man, because they seen we had something, and they didn't have to, man. Because they did, we were able to flourish.
And the crazy part about it, man, you know, you mentioning names that were building blocks and foundational pieces, man, in terms of building Houston up, man.
Yes, sir.
Guys that came before me and, you know, and before you that, like you said, gave us that, just, hey, man, go ahead, do your thing, and put the mic,
yes, sir.
mic in the
with
hand.
With a smile on their face, no animosity.
No animosity, no
animosity.
What made you fall in love with the rap game? What was your first, I guess?
Well, I mean, I go back this far. Now, you see New York City right about now, to the sounds that you hear just through your ear, you have no fear. With Mixmaster Mike and Disco Dave, the Amazing Crash Crew is here by popular demand to shock the motherland with the baddest jams we can find. Like, I go back to WBLS and 92 KTU, and like I was 10 years old, and disco, I was living in New York and living in New Jersey in Newark, and disco on WBLS and 92 KTU, and then eventually Kiss FM came later. It was ending, and something new was starting, and you could feel it. It was a powerful feeling in the air. You'd be sitting there with your tape recorder like all night. They'd be playing the disco, but you knew Mr. Magic was, or Red Alert, or Chuck Chillout, or one of them was any minute. They would be playing disco, then you would automatically start hearing, you say, one for the trouble, two for the time. Come on, y'all, let's rock that. Beep! When you heard that, you was just trying to hit the record button.
Right.
Because hip-hop, here was coming hip-hop, you know?
Beautiful, man. That's
and
beautiful.
It was a beautiful experience, man. Just growing up there, period, going to museums and doing plays with my mom, man. And just really embracing. Shout out to the Sawab family, my family back in Newark, man. My big brother Al Samad Sawab and the whole Sawab tribe and family, and RIP to Abdullah. Because these are the guys. It was a very rough childhood in Newark, New Jersey. Like, if anybody knows anything about Newark, shout out to Tretch too. I just talked to Tretch and Mickey Benzo. Shout out to Mickey Benzo in the Bronx. These are really strong guys, man, that that protected the younger guys and allowed them to get their craft completed and become something, you know?
Beautiful, man. So what brought you to Houston? What made you make the trek down?
My mom woke up one morning and she was like, we was living in West New York, New Jersey, right across on the Boulevard East, right across from the World Trade Center, right across the Hudson. Right out of my window, I could see the whole skyline of New York perfectly. And she woke up one morning and she was like, there's zero unemployment in Houston and there's a lot of factory jobs in California. Me and my older brother, RIP, Randy, and shout out to my little brother, Ace. He's doing 20 years for a triple bank robbery in TDCJ. But basically, it was a situation where she wanted better, you know, single mother shit, you know, which I'll go into that some other time. That's the wackest shit on earth. But single mother shit, she did the best she could. And she was like, we're going to Houston or LA. So LA was showing a lot of gang activity at that time. Cause you gotta think this was 81, 82, you know, something like that. So LA was already full cracking on the guy. I ended up becoming powerful and respected out there later on with a friendship network called the Syndicate. You might've heard of us.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get into all of that.
Oh yeah. But basically she wanted a better situation. She came here and got on at One Shell Plaza right downtown in Houston and, you know, started doing her thing, man. And, you know, that was it. But the thing was, I didn't know at the time, but I was bringing hip hop with me. I already had 2 turntables. I had a Gemini mixer. So I was ready to go. You know, if you know the original OG mixer, Gemini, baby. Right. So I came, man, and I brought that with me. I was fully already indoctrinated with hip hop. So you got to remember, we didn't know it would be big. It's just something that I came here with Lee Twill suits, nameplate, hair in the bowl, wave cut, fucking open up Adidas and Pumas and name belt hanging down, said Pierre on it because my real name is Pierre. And they looked at me in Houston like I was an alien, man. Because cats here was still wearing long polo shirts with the stripes and the Louis Vuitton wallets hanging out the back pocket with the either snakeskin boots or the penny loafers with the dimes in them. Houston had a fly style too with the full crease. You could put your pants up, they'll stand up by themselves. You know, the full starching on the creases. So Houston already had its own style, but hip hop was taking over everywhere. So it's so funny, K, because when I got here, they treated me like shit. And a girl at my school named Maxine, I just got here, I was like 15. And a girl at my school named Maxine needed a DJ for her party. And I was like, I'm a DJ. She said, you lying. You know, back then that wasn't normal.
Right.
I was like, nah, I got turntables. I got everything. She was like, okay. So I threw her party. And when I'm at her party cutting and scratching, they wouldn't even dance. They was like, what the fuck is he doing?
You was an alien for real.
I was an alien for real. So let me tell you what changed it. Yeah, I even had enemies that I would fight every other week from Acres Home. Acres Home's a rough hood too. And we used to go head up at Nimitz before I went to Aldi. But basically what happened was Beat Street hit. First Breaking hit, and that was kind of cool, but that was more of an LA style pop locking. But when Beat Street hit, my people that hated my guts was running up introducing people to me. Yo, this the dude I was telling you about, man, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. We might have something here. If this shit can turn an enemy into a buddy, that's pretty fucking powerful.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's beautiful, man, because
yes,
that history, hip hop, it shows how his hip hop just connects us. You know,
it does, man.
A lot of times
really
we don't like each other just because, like I said, they're looking at how you dressed and they're just a different culture. But the
Well,
music.
you know, I always been a fly dude, as you can see. You know,
No doubt.
I always been on my shit, man. Like you know, we dress in North. The Swabs taught me how to draw. We dress, man. We gets down, man. Right. Shout out to my honor and esteem, man, and my uncle Wazia, R.I.P. and my mom's, man. They taught me how to dress. You hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. It's funny, man. You said because around that time, I think my mama worked at the Shell Plaza. I know my mom just retired from Shell a few years back.
She might know my mom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you were saying that, man. That's pretty strong. Because I know they had one Shell Plaza, they had two Shell Plaza. I can't remember which one.
I think they might have had another building.
Yeah, it was a one Shell and a two Shell. But,
right. My mom worked at one Shell. It's funny because right now when I drive into downtown and I come around that curve, I go right down next to One Shell Plaza before I bust it right and hit Third Ward, of course. Right. You feel me?
Right.
But yeah, man.
That's beautiful, man. So now in H-Town, let me fast forward a little bit. Now, I know you was around back in the Rhinestone Wrangler days, you know.
Oh, man, I was one of the kings at the Rhinestone Wrangler, man.
Talk about those days for us real quick. Educate.
Oh, my God, man. It was like, you know, we need to do a movie about it. I was talking to Jay Prince. You know, Jay and I talk all the time. It's time to do a movie, not only about Rap-A-Lot, which he's in negotiations for, so he's already on top of that, you know, because once Straight Outta Compton did well, that turned everything into where the No Limit movie will now come out, and hopefully the big Rap-A-Lot movie will come out. But at that time, it was like a movie, bro. It really was like a movie. You had Toy Box Window, R.I.P. to Toy Box Window. You had Jay Prince pulling up in double spaceships, 560 SEC convertible Benzes, two of them. If you put it on the street right now, the fuck niggas' heads up. Wow. They were that fly. You know what I'm saying? Then Jay had the white Rolls Royce. Like, you know, these were guys that, you know, I come from a bad situation. Like I said, a single mom, and my mom didn't make the best decisions. So I had to get out there and do my thing. You feel me? And I couldn't do music as much as I wanted to because I had to go survive. And unfortunately, that led me into other circles. But even in that, Allah was merciful and led me to people like Jay Prince and NC Trahan and cats like that, man, that showed me love and showed me that I didn't have to do that. Like I could do something greater. And they put their arms around me, and man, I was able to flourish, man. So I'll always be loyal to this right here, man. Always.
No question, man. Yeah. So those early battles, man, because, you know, we was doing the same thing on the South Side, but we would hear about those battles, and my homie Murder One.
It was epic. They was epic.
From the South, Murder from the South. So he would go to the Rhinestone.
Oh, now Murder One was right there with us.
Yeah.
Murder One was right there with every day. I always seen he was always right there with us. He was there.
He used to tell me, he used to educate me because the Willie D. Romeo Poet battles, like you said, Raw Flush, Rick, and all those guys just crushing each other, man. You know, what was that atmosphere like? Cause we was doing it on street corners and school hallway, but y'all was in them clubs putting it down, man. What was that whole atmosphere like back in those days, man?
It was a movie. Like, you know what's funny is it was a movie while we were doing it. Like we would lead a club, bro. And Big Steve, shout out to Big Steve. He was always like the main club owner around town. And he ended up selling me his convertible Benz later when I got into other activities, but we'll talk about that. But basically, man, he would have buses sitting outside the club. We would leave the club 4 a.m. and jump on the buses and go to Galveston and hang out the whole weekend together, man. It was like a family, bro. Right. It was really dope. Like, I know people are looking at this probably like, oh, man, couldn't have been. Yo, it was really that dope, man. It was really the shit.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I say, we were doing it on the South Side, but I would hear those stories, man, about y'all was fighting behind, you know, those rap battles, man, and trying to.
Well, you know, we ended up having one epic battle, man, that almost killed a couple of dudes, man. Somebody got hit in the head. They say Royal Flush did it. You know, we was rumblers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was young gangsters, man. Like, I ended up getting heavier into it later. And yeah, I mean, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know Newark, then that should tell you everything.
Right. That's beautiful.
And then I hooked up with Fifth Ward dude. So you do the math.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That should tell you everything.
We here with the legend, man, the one and only Big Born Twice, man, educating us, giving us a history lesson. So when you decided that it was your time to start, hey man, I'm getting ready to put my own stuff out. Talk us through that process that got you going into
wow, that's I tell you what, we're gonna head back to the studio because my arm getting tired of the motherfucker. Come on, bro. So we're gonna walk on back as
all
I
good,
talk.
all good, brother.
Listen, I would say that was more for me. That was more like it was rough, man, because I remember Daryl Oliver, and I know if I say that, if Jay Prince is watching this, he's cracking up even hearing me say that. Daryl Oliver, it's the studio, Lloyd Hughes and I, well, Lloyd started a long time ago. He allowed me to come on later, many years ago, and we still here, man, still banging out hits, man.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, it was rough because I made up my mind I'm not selling my shit. And I still own my shit to this day and get paid from it. Right. Like, and that was not an easy, by the time I went to Beverly Hills and set up an office there and everything later on, that became harder because they kept throwing money at me, but I was already comfortable. So I was like, nah, I already got Benzes and BMWs and houses and shit and diamonds. I don't fucking need your money. I want my son's sons to eat off this. And that needs to be talked about more, you know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now
Lloyd and I are partners on the same label, man, and we run our shit, man. It's one of the most brilliant jazz musicians that y'all ever about to hear, man.
Respect.
Yes, sir. So that's what we're doing. We're about making great art, but retaining ownership, man, and getting residual income.
So your first album dropped what year did your first album drop?
My first album was actually Child for Freestyle. Shout out to YZ and the ESD Posse, Be Fine, Promise Sweet Love. Shout out to Promise Sweet Love, man. That's my brother forever. Basically, you know, when we hooked up, see, look what Lloyd doing. See, Lloyd crazy.
I remember that, man. Look, I remember that album. I remember that album, that cover, man.
We still got it. It's so funny, man, because when they came to Texas, because they were from Jersey too, Rick and I and Al B, shout out to Al B, he's out in the Cayman Islands doing it real big. We basically embraced them and they embraced us. So when that happened, the hip hop was changing a little bit. It was starting to become more like Afrocentric with X Clan and Brother X, got R.I.P. and cats like that. So YZ and them came right at the right time to give us that gift about being more, talking about our Black struggle and things like that, being more conscious. And I shout out to y'all, man. Oh man, y'all been holding it down for so long with street consciousness, man. I can't even salute y'all enough, bro. Like, shout out to Cliche. I comment on her pictures and stuff, and I was saying something about her a couple weeks ago, how she just stays right in there with her guys. So every woman in America, and these Black women especially, need to learn from her.
She is, you know, she is the
quintessential loyalty, man. Quintessential loyalty.
That's right, brother. Consistency.
Yes, sir.
And now she has grown and transcended into just that activism and that awareness. She
got that passion, man. She was going off the other day, man. I was feeling so. I wanted to reach through the damn phone, man, and give her a hug, man. She was hot, man. Now, but you know, bottom line is when you represent integrity, it's not always easy, but it's worth it. People will catch up to you eventually, and I knew that starting out when I was like, they'll catch up. But I feel like what I'm doing right now is right, and I'm gonna just keep moving forward. And this guy right here helped me out tremendously. Opened up the studio, made me a partner, allowed me to do whatever I needed to do, and we're gonna keep on rocking, man, till the fucking casket's dropping, man.
No doubt, man. And shout out to you, big brother Lloyd, because you remind me of the first engineer that I had when I started doing my solo stuff. I worked with him till he retired. he
Wow.
decided he didn't want. So y'all's connection just it reminds me of the fact that once you link up with somebody that you know y'all are here with each other,
yes,
you ain't
sir.
going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere.
Yes, sir.
Man,
well, you know,
relationships are definitely, it means something. You got some loyalty there.
Yeah,
absolutely. And without that, man, you really can't do much without being locked, screwed, and glued with one another, man. And a lot of times in Houston, we don't do that, and we need to start doing that more, man. Like, we need to move our egos the fuck out the way. Niggas need to be real serious. If they know they can't lead, follow, nigga.
Absolutely. I totally agree. People get scared of that word, but if you to follow the right leader, there's nothing wrong with it. If you follow foolish,
not at all,
then you crazy. But if you recognize,
and you know what's funny, K? What's so funny about it, K, is that I still follow Jay Prince. That's still the big homie. I still follow Ice-T. We talk every day. That's still the big homie. Like, there's certain people, like Lloyd, that's the big homie. That's my big bro. Right. Like that, what's wrong with that? I'm still born twice. I'll slap the taste out your mouth and butt and gun you down. Like, it doesn't change anything.
How is it that our young generation can kind of understand and adopt that understanding what you just said? Because this picture has been painted. I don't follow nobody. But you.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. Like, I never been like that. I always been, if it's, I'll line up under it if it's real leadership.
Absolutely.
And if it's taking us all somewhere, if a nigga's trying to create a buffet table and all I got is a really cool plate of food, I'm gonna fuck with him so we can buffet out. Now there's enough food for everybody. So that's what it's really about in a nutshell. It's about doing something bigger than just you. It's about market share. Fuck just your few millions that year. Market share of the hip hop industry is billions. Let's take a market share as a team. And then we'll split that up. If you can move your egos out the way, that can happen. So that's what it's about for me, man. It's about humbling myself. Like, one of the greatest things that Jay Prince talked about in his book, Respect, is humility, man. These niggas don't practice humility no more. They think it's all a movie, bro. It's not a movie, man. Real gangster shit, real street shit, real life shit. It's not a movie. It has movie moments, but it's not a movie. It can't be run by the blueprint of making a film. That's for entertainment.
You dropping jewels, because this is what you just said. You said, you live in life and you have movie moments. And what happens is those movie moments tend to get glorified and pushed out by media. So where our youth, that's all they seeing is those moments.
Movie moments.
Glorified moments. But the other 23 hours and something, regular life is happening.
The build up, the blood, sweat, and tears to build something. They don't see that part.
Right.
They miss that part. Like, even our women they more want you when you're the nigga, when you're the shit. They don't realize, and that's the destination. That means you met him, he already got a Bentley, he already the shit, he diamonds, whatever, right? They don't realize the journey is better. To go on his journey with him, meet him and see the potential, and join his team when he has that potential, and build with him. Get out of that bullshit from fucking waiting to exhale, because that shit didn't really happen. That was the movie. Most niggas that if you get behind him and back him and through his dream and make him become something, he's gonna honor you back. So a lot of that propaganda, man, we need to stop allowing the powers that be, the oligarchs, the white system, no disrespect or no racism, just the reality. Right. We need to stop letting them dictate how we get down.
Come on.
We know how to get down. Our grandparents and great-grandparents showed us, and they did everything with little or nothing, and we got everything and ain't doing shit. Right. So come on, man, that should tell you right there. Our women are in manifest error, and they need to get down with their kings again and stop going on trips to the fucking islands and buying purses and all the rest of that weak ass shit while we're being murdered. And I'm a fly nigga with Bentleys and Maseratis and all that shit. I'm not no broke nigga talking like this.
Right.
I'm just saying what I see, and it's disgusting.
Absolutely. What role has just the society played in putting that out there to make our brothers and sisters pursue, like you said, just that what they think is there, but they not respecting the road that it took. You know, what has to happen to reverse that thinking to make us appreciate the real value of the journey?
You know, it's really scary because when they put crack in our neighborhoods and heroin before that, that dismantled the family structure so overwhelmingly that we now skipped the generation. So we got a generation and a half of kids that their mom and their dad was on crack. They wasn't around. They raised themselves. Some of them had to sell crack to their own uncles, including myself, man. I'm not going to act like I'm exempt. Like, it was bad. It was very fucking bad. And when that destroyed the fan, I contributed to that. And alhamdulillah, subhanallah, may Allah forgive me. The bottom line is that we have a generation and a half that's so damaged at this point that it's the glitz and the glamour that they gravitate to more so than the beauty of family. Right. And what we need to do is understand that family is more powerful. What's up, big bro?
I'm saying it's more instant gratification instead of working for it.
Well said.
I deserve it now. What I put in the work,
And they don't understand the work is the fun part. That's when you galvanize. That's when you learn trust. That's when you become glued to one another. That's when you know that's your queen because she did the work. Like, these women don't want to do the work no more, man. And then the kids is the same way. It's like they want instant gratification. I never wanted that. I'll go to the gym every day then to build my muscles.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example of that, man. Mm-hmm. I had a girl that was just on me about going in the studio all the time. Well, I'm going to go to the studio with you. She came to the studio once. She stayed there about 4 hours. Said, y'all played that song 50 times. I said, we're going to play it 50 more till we get it right. That was the last day she showed up at the studio.
Bruh, I believe you done, we see, this one lets me know we have all that are in this fight here. We done walked down the same roads, man. Cause I done told this same story to somebody before, man.
But one thing about you, K, you always been a powerful leader that people look up to and respect and listen to. And myself as well, Lloyd as well. We're the guys that has to change it because many people look up to us for our direction and then they want to follow that. So we have to keep speaking on this. That's why I'm speaking so passionately about it, because for way too many years, we were afraid that we felt like we were demeaning our queens if we talked about it. And we're not. We want our queens back.
Let me ask you this, like, because you're OG, unquestionable.
For real.
Stamped and certified.
On levels I can't even speak about it on the phone.
Exactly. Stamped and certified, brother. Let me ask you this, because some of the younger generation, it's a disconnect between that OG generation, that new generation, and some of the younger generation feel as though, well, man, the OGs don't reach out. They don't grab us and give us that guidance. Is that something that you've been able to do, or is something that you're hearing and seeing? How do we fix that and bridge that gap?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You like, I go through that now. Like, I got a couple of young homies that I've been grooming for underboss for years. And I asked one to do me a favor the other night. I'm not gonna say his name. And he went into this whole diatribe about, well, man, I got connections too. And I'm this and I'm that too. And I'm like, I'm listening to this nigga. I'm like, nigga, like, nigga, I'm connected with the realest from New York to LA. Like, for real. And he knows this. Right. I'm like, don't tell me, like, and even if you do have those connections, why can't we bring my connections and yours together and make something buffet rather than that plate I talked about? So it's hard because on this gangster shit, usually what fixes everything is this. And unfortunately, that's all I want to say about that. Sometimes you don't need to be coddled. Sometimes you need to be punched in your chest.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's different ways to reach different people. Some people you can get with a word. Some people you can get by them seeing your example. And sometimes you gotta.
Let's just keep it real, man. Look, Kay, Fear greases the wheel, man.
Hmm.
Let me say that again, man. Fear greases the wheel, bro.
I hear you.
You want the wheel greased so everything can move smoothly. You create the fear, man.
Born twice.
Take a page out the white man book. That's what he do to us.
Yeah.
Whenever his fear level get down, he do something else, and then we all scared again and then in check.
Yeah, absolutely. The big Born Twice, the legend of OG is in the building, the triple OG. Tell us about how you linked up with Ice-T, man, in the Rhyme Syndicate, man, because I remember hearing that back in the days from Murder One, and Murder One like, man, B2 done linked up with Ice. I'm like, man, that's because you was with Ice when Ice was Ice.
I've been partners with Ice now, and I say partners, nigga.
Yeah.
I've been partners with Ice now for 28 years. Like, we started out in 95, 96.
Right.
And what happened was I was on tour. Shout out and RIP to Big D, man. He just died. He was a major promoter, concert promoter, and promotions guy for all the big labels back then. Him and Lump, they used to work together. Lump was like his underboss.
Yeah.
And during that time, I wanted to do 6 in the morning over. I own Bigger. I own my label. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it over. So my manager at the time was like, I was like, can I do that? I was kind of skeptical. My manager was like, nah, fuck it, let me make these phone calls. So he made the phone calls, and we got the rights to it. I paid $500. I got the rights to 6 in the morning. So I've written the studio right here and recorded it 6 in the morning, but I did it more of a South Park version.
Yeah. Because
I was running with my South Park and Fifth Ward guys back then. So, I was one of the gangsters that could hang with both. Because that's not really
that wasn't common back in those
right.
Yeah.
But they respected me enough to where I could hang, because there wasn't that many gangsters back then. We all knew each other.
Right.
And so when I did that and I finally went out west, I had my Rolls Royce out there, and I had 2 boxes of 6 in the morning in the trunk. And I had my Benz out there in a BMW. So I reached in when I met Brother Marquise. Big D took me on tour. When he took me on tour, Brother Marquise from the 2 Live crew kept saying, yo, nigga, do you know Ice-T? I was like, nah, that's one of my idols, though. He's like, nigga, when are you gonna be in LA again, nigga? Next time you in LA, nigga, I'm gonna introduce y'all. Nigga, y'all the same nigga. You just dark and he light, nigga. Y'all niggas gonna, this is what he said verbatim. He said, nigga, y'all niggas gonna fall in love with each other. That's what he said.
Right.
And he was right like a motherfucker. I shipped my Mercedes out there at the time, and my Rolls wasn't there yet. My Beamer wasn't there yet. But I was twisting corners, and I told him I would call him when I got there. And because he's from LA, Brother Marquise, though, he's with the 2 Live crew, but he's really from LA.
Wow. Didn't know that.
So his family, he's from the hood. Like, I picked him up on 88th, nigga, 8-tray gangster. Hood. So I pick him up. We rolling in the Benz. He said, yo, nigga, let's go by the syndicate office. So we go by the syndicate office. I'm honored. Nigga, I'm like, oh, shit, we about to go by the syndicate office, nigga. Shawnee Shine was there. Shout out to big homie Shawnee Shine. That's my big bro to this day. If you listen to 6 in the morning, I said Shawnee Shine was the driver known to give freaks hell.
Exactly.
Everybody he talked about in that song is still down with us, bro.
Wow.
Except for one dude. I ain't gonna speak on him. But basically, man, Ice had to do Surviving the Game. He had to finish doing Surviving the Game. So I gave him the 2 boxes of cassettes. That's how long ago it was. I gave him 2 boxes of cassettes. And I pull off. He said, yo, man, when I get back from doing Surviving the Game, you know how Ice talk. I'm going to fuck with you. I'm going to link up with you. I said, yo, if you never call me a day in your life, it's an honor and a privilege just to meet you and give you this gift.
Right.
He said, nah, I'm gonna really call, because in LA, niggas say shit. Niggas say some shit. You be like, whatever, nigga. Yeah. But Ice is a man of his to this day. That's why we still like this, because if he says it, he means it. If he gives you his word, he stands on it. It's just like Jay Prince. Like, I like guys like how about I had Jay Prince and Ice-T on the phone together the other day on the 3-way.
Wow.
That was a moment for me even.
Wow.
And I told both of my big brothers how much I love them both while they were both listening. That felt pretty good. But basically, he came back from doing Surviving the Game. I had a studio on Venice Beach. I would ride my bike on Venice Beach every day. And Grover Washington, the legendary jazz musician's son, and I were like this. So we had a recording studio on Venice Beach, and sure enough, I'm in the studio one day, and Ice called me. He said, "Yo, what's up?" I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "I said, who is this?" He's like, "Yo, this Ice T." I was like, "Oh, what's up?" He's like, "Yo, what you doing?" I said, "I'm making beats in the studio in Venice." He's like, "You need to come up to the house." So here's a great story. I'm driving up to the house in my Benz. It's me, Grover, and Han Soul. He was a big rapper out of Philly. He's still a good friend of mine. He's really more spiritually into God these days, but he prayed for me on the phone the other day. But because I'm still cool with all my originals. But we're headed up the hill and my Benz gets stuck in a mudslide. It just rained, which it never really does out there. My Benz gets stuck in a mudslide. And when I got stuck, first of all, they told me don't go through that mud. I was like, you know me, nigga. I'm like, nigga, fuck that, nigga. Yeah. So I hit the shit and the bitch spent around and it is stuck. So I'm pushing it, ain't going nowhere. Now you got to know in LA, that mudslide is slowly going. It's gonna take my Benz off the cliff.
Wow.
With it.
Wow.
In a matter of time. So I call ISIS, yo, you're never gonna believe it. He's like, what's up? What's up? I was like, yo, nigga, I'm in a mudslide. He said, yo, nigga, I'm on my way. Now, this is what made us like this from day one. Now, all of the syndicate members that's up at the mansion and everything else, he didn't send not one of them. He came himself. Got in that mud with us. He had a Range Rover back then with all the chrome, like big, you know, the big grills that go on the front, and then he got the grills on the lights and the big chrome shit. Normally it's in black. This shit was chrome. So he hooked up the pulleys and pulled my Benz out that mudslide. Wow. Himself. So from that moment on, man, it's been the same way, man. Whenever we need each other, we right there on the front lines, no questions asked. As a matter of fact, shout out to Mickey Benzo, Ice's manager. His daughters are in town. They live here now. So I went and checked on them the other day. So the brotherhood's still strong, man.
Worldwide legend, Big Boy.
So anybody out there running to Mickey Benzo's daughters, if you don't have good intentions, leave them the fuck alone.
Say that name again.
Mickey Benzo from the Bronx.
Well, y'all heard him.
Yeah, leave him the fuck alone. I'm telling you. If you ain't got good intentions, fall back, homie.
I'm gonna tell you what I like about that whole story, man. That whole Ice-T story you just told. It didn't have nothing to do with music. It was
nothing to do with music.
On some brotherhood action, man. You know, and that's what creates the bond and maintains the bond. Like you and Big Brother Lloyd. It's like, so that tells me that a common theme in your life is loyalty and brotherhood. From what I'm
don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna take full credit. I made mistakes too. I had
we all have,
yeah. I had to figure things out and go, you know what the fuck was I doing? Wait a minute, I made the wrong turn back there. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like I went through that, you know, but ultimately I got my head on straight and I'm glad that I was able to. But that's what the growth is about. Like you gotta grow.
Man, that's exactly what we was talking about the other day. We said we're not supposed to be the same person we were at 22.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to grow and keep growing.
Absolutely. And if you don't, man, you're just stuck on stupid, man.
No doubt. I remember Muhammad Ali made a quote similar to that. He said, a man who thinks the same way at 50, that the way he thought at 30 has wasted 20 years of his life.
Woo! I like that. I like that.
So what you're saying is absolutely on point. Let me go into what are you doing today in 2021? You know, musically, how are you still getting down as far as musically today, big brother?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was talking to shout out to Rashad Al-Amin and Cliff Mack, the director. They talked to me a couple weeks ago and they was like, yo, Twice, we came to a consensus. I was like, what's the consensus? He was like, we decided, man, that, and this fucked my head up when they said this. They was like, we decided that you were supposed to be Jay-Z. And when they said that, I was like I just kind of, I didn't know how to take that. You feel me? But when I thought about it, I thought about Reasonable Doubt and I thought about Serial Player, and they dropped around the same time. And I think those are twin albums. But I stopped though. I got back in the streets like a fucking idiot when I should have believed in this music more. So now I'm recapturing that. I got the album Omerta. I got Zero on it. I got to get you on it. We got to do something beautiful.
Say the word.
I got Bun B. Shout out to Bun B from UGK. R.I.P. to Pimp. I got him on their song that never been released. I got Devin the Dude. I just been bit Willie D. He and I did an epic song called God Loves Gangsters. Imagine. we killed that.
Imagine.
So I got some shit to spank these niggas with, and I'm gonna spank them, but I'm gonna spank them with a documentary film, much about the stuff we're talking about from my start back with my Sawab family back in Newark, New Jersey, then my time here with Rap-A-Lot Mafia, and then my time with the Syndicate on the West Coast. So that's 3 movies, if you ask me. I'm just gonna condense them into one.
Absolutely, man. I believe your story needs to be told.
The fact that I survived is just nothing but Allah, alhamdulillah, subhanallah.
Absolutely, man. You like I say, you are a foundational piece.
Thank you, brother.
You moved around so much.
I mean, I didn't have no family. Like, this is what people don't understand. My story is tragic, man. Like, people see the cars and they see the clothes and all that shit, and they like, you don't know, I come from a really bad situation, brother. I come from my mom, don't really give a fuck. I ain't talked to my mom in over a year, man. She's alive. I never knew my father. I met that nigga once, and I was born on the same day as him. That's what born twice means. I met the nigga one time. So I had to do shit, bro. I had to survive. I had to eat.
Absolutely.
Homeless and all that, like, you name it. I've been through it. Like, the whole thing of schlepping my cars, all that, bro. Like, the whole thing is, when I decided I didn't want to sell drugs no more, that's when, God put me through the tests. And I'm thankful for those tests.
Absolutely.
No, I don't come from a good situation, man. That's why my music is so deep, man, because it's really my heart pouring out into that booth, man.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'll say this. To know and hear all that, but to still see you still standing on 2 feet, still standing strong in your right mind.
Yeah.
Allah was with you, bro, and still with you. So I pray. I don't know your situation with your mother, but I pray that situation is mended.
Thank you, brother.
Every time that Allah see fit, or that y'all see fit. So.
That's why I'm so passionate about these independent so-called women's issues, because my mom was the OG of that. And she's alone, been alone for many years, didn't work for her. Didn't work for my grandmother, she died alone, my mom's mom. Didn't work for my grandmother's, or my auntie, my grandmother's sister, she died alone at 90. Like, we're being hustled, man. We're being bamboozled. And our women are catching the brunt of it.
Yes, sir.
Like, our women are like, how when men go to war and it's just all women left at home because the men are all off to war? Tell me our communities ain't the same way.
Yeah.
But now it's to the generation where the women despise the men that go off to war. And they feel like they don't even need us.
Man. Yeah, the devil is a bad man. He created this circumstance and turned the male against the female against the male, and now we suffering the consequences from that.
The author of deception.
Without a doubt. Let me ask you this, big brother, in terms of music also, are there any like younger artists that you're working with that how do you look at today's generation of rap? How does Born Twice look at today's rappers, and is there anybody you look at and say, well, you know what? I could rock with that. I could pull this guy out, or you just like, I ain't.
I'm gonna be honest, man. There's some dudes that's doing their thing, like that dude that just got killed with the Woo movement. He was dope. He would have really done really well. Drake is dope, but I think Drake is teetering more towards the females now. So dudes we can't feel him as much. But shout out to Drake, because his lyrics are super dope and on point. Travis Scott. Oh my God, man. Travis Scott. He lives probably right down the street from here or some fucking where. Yeah. But probably in a much bigger house. Yeah. But ultimately, his shit is really phenomenal. What I like about Travis is his shit is dope just for the new millennium generation, right? But he also puts in old stuff where you can tell he's well studied in hip hop. Right. So he puts both together. Right. Love that about his music. Let me see. I love Jadakiss, but I mean, those are kind of older heads that's still around. Nas is, to me, just the king of everything. Like, there's no, you know, to me, there's no comparison between Jay-Z and Nas, you know? Jay-Z is dope as fuck, but Nas is on a whole nother level, bro.
What about you yourself in terms of, did you ever think about trying to just sign younger artists and groom somebody and bring them up yourself? You ever thought about doing that?
Yeah, I've done that. I actually signed, when I had the Penthouse office, I actually signed here in Houston. I actually signed Daniel Smith. Like, his son is going through some shit last week with that chick. What's her name? That's on the Sky. Daniel Smith, Jules. Mm-hmm. You didn't see the controversy last week where he did a video of her. I think he was doing some nasty to her and he taped it.
No, I'll be out the loop.
Yeah. Well, this is Beyonce's nephew.
Oh,
okay. Basically, her brother-in-law, who's still powerful in their family and well-respected, Daniel Smith. Shout out to Young Soso or Daniel Smith. We did a whole album on him, and then he told me he didn't really want to deal with Jay-Z at the time. He wanted to sign with Born Twice, that I was a legend. And, you know, I had the office in the studio already in place. So we did an album on him. Shout out to Jared J. Ghost, my partner at the time at the studio. Right. And we did a whole album on him. It was a pretty good album. But then he doubled back on me. And Jay-Z, I think, wanted to use him for like some modeling or something like that. And he didn't really want to do the music. So I just scrapped the album after I spent all that money. I just scrapped it. Like, I don't believe in holding people, man. If you don't want to be around, man, I'm not gonna hold you.
That's a heck of
a but I took a hit on that. I've groomed a lot of artists, man, but niggas ain't loyal no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm not shouting out no fucking body. But my son, Pierre Jr., Prince JP, that's it. And shout out to my grandson, Trey. Pierre III, that's it. I ain't, if it ain't loyalty, I ain't fucking with it because I'm gonna want to do something to you. Because you gotta remember, I'm taking food off my table, sharing it with you in hopes that we'll have a bigger table later. Then after you eat, you say, you know what? I'm not sure if I want, bitch, I'll stab you with this fork. So that's how I be thinking because, a brother don't have to share his resources and his connections and everything with nobody. Right. So when somebody does that, you're supposed to show that same loyalty back. And it's not a lot of that going on no more.
No question.
So I'm careful. I try to be careful.
No doubt. Do you have any new music coming or what you and Lloyd?
Yeah, we got the Omerta. We got the Omerta album. We got Lloyd's album, which is going to be a smash. Shout out to Grover Washington. He's my partner on it too. We're taking Lloyd all over the world, Monaco, Monte Carlo, Paris, all of that. So I'm doing a lot of things again in music, man, and I'm excited about them. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not like I'm not messing with. I'm not caught up in the fame part of it. Like, I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? I like making music that can last forever, that they'll be buying many years from now, and that is really good quality. So that's what it's taking me. I got albums right now I can put out. I got a song, for instance, named Dominoes with Big Pokey from SUC and Bun B that's off the hinges. Like, if I let you hear some of my songs, you'd be like, man, why this ain't out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a bunch of songs in the vault, but I'm just waiting for the right time to rebuild my company because I'm not giving these songs to nobody. Because again, like, if you eating and my family, because you know how the fuckery goes on in this shit. If I see you eating and we're starving, if you think I ain't coming to see you, you crazy. And I see that happen all the time. Like, they act like it's sweet, like it's just all good. Like, they can take your art, make a zillion with it, and throw you some scraps, and you'll be happy. Not me, bruh. I know your kids go to school, Holmes, and I'll show up. Like at the end of the day, man, like I'm not here to bother anybody. I'm not here to gangster or bully nobody. But you're not taking food off my fucking plate, bro.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on. That's what I'm talking
So that's really what it's about, man. It's about brotherhood, and I still have all my brothers, like my big bro behind me, just like Jay Prince, Ice-T, everybody, all like yourself. Like I build relationships that'll last forever, man. And that's all I need. Mickey Benzo. I got real brothers, man, from New York to LA, man. And I'm gonna stick with them because we've proven over many, many years that we really got each other's backs. And I prefer to fuck with that.
Absolutely, man. Well, I tell you what, brother, like I said, I feel as though you are underrated in this city. And
yeah, man, niggas told me I was supposed to be Jay-Z, man. You know how that day went for me, man. You know what that felt like, man.
keep the game. You are exactly who you was born to be. You know,
right?
And, you know,
right.
And you are the best version of what God made you. You know,
yeah, but Kay, I start thinking about, man, that, you know, Beyonce was right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to take her all the way to Brooklyn, man. And then I'm from Jersey. He took the Nets to fucking Brooklyn, too. Like, it bothered me a little bit.
Y'all got James Harden now, so it's all good. well, the team that used to be in Jersey got James Harden now.
How about that? But shout out to Jay-Z and Beyonce, man. Yeah. They're definitely an image that more Black people probably need to follow. As far as couples, especially Black couples, like you see, she got her king. Like she did what she needed to do to get her king, and he did what he needed to do to get his queen. And we don't see that no more. I don't know what's going on out here, man. We got problems.
Yeah, we absolutely got problems. But it's always good to see examples of what you just said, where you see power couples.
That's why I salute them, man.
That can make other people that are coming up have an example to look at and say, okay, you know what? Let's try to strive to get to that point, to get to that level, man. And
absolutely.
To do things for the community as well. Don't be sitting on all that wealth and then you just harboring it to yourself. Make sure you out here blessing other people as well, man.
That's why I shout out to them, man. Like, salute to them, man, because they got a beautiful family. They got a super beautiful life. And that's what you want, man. You want to build, like, you know, when Daniel was with us, Young Sosa, you know, he would relay messages back to Jay for me and back and forth and stuff. And it was about, they would always say family first. And I shout out to them because that's the same mantra that Jay Prince, myself, Ice-T, like we live by that, family first, man.
No question, absolutely, man. The legend, born twice, bro. I appreciate you so much, man.
Man, thank you, brother.
No, bro. You, like I say again, you just taught us so much history and gave us so much game at the same time. And we ain't doing nothing but having a conversation. This ain't an interview. This is like a conversation.
How about that?
So I thank you, bro. And of course, you know, if you want me and need me, brother, just bing, and I'm coming.
You know what? I'm gonna produce something perfectly and special just for me and you.
Let's do it.
To get to set some things straight out here. Let's put it that way.
Let's
do
it.
Sir. Yes,
shout out to my brother Murder One, man. You know, because
shout out to Murder One.
He's a big fan of you, man.
I'm a big fan of him too as a person.
Man, no question, man. That's my brother, man. Like the same way the connection that you and Lloyd got, that's me and Murder. You know what I'm saying?
How about that, man?
30 years.
Y'all like this?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? 30 years deep in the game, man. So
yes, sir.
Be blessed, big brother. And
hey, you too, my brother.
And blessings to you, big brother Lloyd, man. And you know, we gonna work. Let's get it in, family.
Well, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam. Do you have any
Rahman to Allah wa barakat.
Do you have any social media that you want to direct people to, any ways that they can get in contact with you?
I mean, you know what, man? I'm more like I'm you know how everybody's trying to do shit online? I'd rather refine, only deal with the best. They want 1 million followers. I'd rather have 100,000 of the right ones.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm not really, you know, you'll find me if I'm doing my job and I'm releasing product and it's out there, it's doing what it needs to do, you'll find me. But the real Big Born Twice is on Instagram, and that's all you really need. Or Bigger Entertainment and Films Incorporated, or Bigger Global. You know, everybody tries to tear the label down, try to tear me down. I've been through hell, man. But guess what, man? They forged diamonds in motherfucking fire, cuz.
Still standing, you know, and ain't going nowhere. My brother, man.
I
Thank
appreciate
you,
you, my brother. If you need anything from me, man, you know I'm right here too, brother.
Vice versa, brother. Be blessed. Y'all have a great day, family.
All right, you too, man.
All right, peace.
All right, peace and love.
Yeah.